Welcome back. Thanks for coming. And sorry we're starting a little bit late. If you are used to the stream being right at 3 o'clock, I was trying to get there and, well, I had some audio engineering problems, but we are now free of any tethers, so that's great. Which means if I forget something in another room, I can just walk and get it, and I can still be talking to you. I think this unit will work through my whole house, so you won't be able to see me, but anyway, today we are going to be talking about trumpet metaphysics. Now, if you've been following along with the Brandenburg saga, I'm sorry that I sort of had to cut that short. I didn't have any video to share with you on the last 2 days, basically. I think the last one we did was Brandenburg C-2, the cleaning, and I was hoping to get a little bit of like maybe my routine or maybe the rehearsals on Monday and Tuesday, and I simply just couldn't do it. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it in the rehearsals, especially because I wanted to just focus on playing. And but the concert went pretty well. I'll tell you about it a little bit just right here at the beginning in case you're interested at all. Because this is the next video in the series, so it makes sense. So I cleaned my trumpet. You saw that. I played a couple notes on it. Great. The rehearsal on Monday, which I think was that same day, was pretty good, but very long. It was about 2 hours long, and I was starting to feel fatigued about halfway through, but I tried to just keep playing and keep, I didn't play, I felt like too much, but I could start to feel like a little bit of a muscle wall collapse, especially on my top lip, and I felt sort of bound up. And so the next day, I tried not to play too much. Of course, I taught lessons these days too, so I wanted to sort of play with my students, but I didn't play very much, so it wasn't like I overplayed or did anything wrong there, mostly just basics, which should help, right? But I did too much in that first rehearsal on Monday, and so then Tuesday's rehearsal started off and I could barely kind of get through things, and that's very scary when you're coming up against it. And so, and it's also sort of, it's not so much pride, but you don't want your colleagues to be nervous for you. So there's a little bit of like, I guess there's a feeling of shame that comes along with that, right? That you're like, oh no, I'm making this hard on other people because I'm not doing my job. And so that's something that I wish that I had a way to document. And I guess I could have recorded all of I have a floor video, which is where you put your phone down and hit record. Maybe I'll listen. I didn't want to listen to it. It was very bad. But it would be very honest to post that, and you can just hear how bad that Tuesday rehearsal was. And so then Wednesday I took the entire time off. I refused to play anything that I didn't want to play. I refused to do anything basically all day. Like I said before in some of the previous videos, a lot of people will take an entire week off or an entire month off to get prepared for this, and that's all they have to do. I don't think that's necessary, but depending on what the stakes are, right? This was a local performance that's live streamed that was preceding an organ recital, and so the pressure is pretty low in my case. It's not a, let's say, Ravinia concert in the summer with the Chicago Symphony, where if you don't do a good job, you might lose your job forever, right? So, so there's different, I think I would take much more time and be a little more careful. But I've learned a couple of things. So anyway, the concert went fine. It wasn't perfect, but we sounded good all together. I clipped a lot of notes but didn't miss any really. And so clipping and missing, you could argue that if you clipped it, you missed it, right? But it wasn't anything egregious, and that's good. We got all the double high A's, and we, at least, even with a little bit of a cuff, we got, I think, all the high G's in the last movement. And I'm not a high note, nut, but those are the notes that if you really cack them bad, they sound really bad, right? And so we didn't cack any of them too badly. If you want to watch the performance, you can go to opus126.com. That is the opus number of the organ. It's a Fisk. Very, very lovely instrument. And you can watch the entire performance there. It's the live stream that was archived on May 26th, 2021. So you can go check that out. And also a lovely organ concert that you should definitely go listen to, because that's really the main event, right? We just sort of did a little prelude. So it was also the first live concert that they've been able to do in that venue since COVID, and our sort of vaccines have been rolling out and gotten to the point where they felt comfortable letting 75 people come to this performance all spread out in the church. And it seemed relatively safe to me. I thought there were some clusters of people that were too close together that maybe shouldn't have been, but we have to figure out how to do this, right? So live music will probably get pretty quickly back to where people feel comfortable. They just want it to be back the way it was, but then there will be restrictions in place that sort of prevent us. And here we go again with the camera. Sorry about this. But some restrictions in place that will prevent us from, being able to just simply go back to normal. So anyway, that's what that was. You're welcome to go watch it. If I think about it, I will try to put this link. Oh, see, it's just going straight to Frozen now. Well, get one thing done, and then the next thing fails on you, right? I should have started this up a little bit earlier and just let it settle. I'm not sure still what the secret code is to trying to get all this to work on the first try, but I do know that if I wait long enough, then it tends to even itself out, and then I can use it for the rest of the day or whatever. So it's all sort of hodgepodge together. And if I used my other solution, if you're interested in this at all, HDMI cable instead of a USB cable on this Nikon D7200, then I would probably have way more consistent results. It would just burn up my camera faster. And I am an amateur photographer, so I want to be able to use this camera for other stuff. Not that I do a lot. I have another couple of cameras upstairs that I usually use instead. But anyway, now, oh, we're frozen yet again. Let's see if this works. Nope, that's the same feed. Let's see if I leave this program open and quit this program, I open it back up, and then reselect that stream. That sort of worked. All right, well, anyway, today we're going to talk about Trumpet Metaphysics. So that's all about Brandenburg. That's all about camera junk. I'm going to keep continually trying to reset this equipment because it's annoying that it doesn't work. But we're going to talk about Trumpet Metaphysics. And you might say, I don't know what that is. I don't know what metaphysics is. Or my sister is into metaphysics and it's all like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. That's a different kind of metaphysics. This is the idea of metaphysics, still just crashing every time. The idea of metaphysics is that basically you are, how do I put this? You're trying to work out how everything works together. So when you're talking about the metaphysics of like the universe or the world, there's a lot of wild stuff there. If you're talking about something smaller, then it's actually pretty easy to work out the a metaphysics, right? And there's not necessarily an answer. It depends on what you're trying to do. There we go. Back a little bit for a little while, right? So let's say I'm trying to describe how I don't know, walking works. Just walking around, sort of just normal, walking, right? If I want to describe that in a metaphysics kind of way, I could talk about the physics, right? Well, you have to, you step forward with one foot and you balance on the other, and then you lean your weight forward, and that's the physics of it, right? That's the step-by-step method, and that we need that. That's normally what we talk about when we teach. That's normally what we're working on when we're practicing. But the metaphysics of it is like, well, how are the parts related to each other? Jeez Louise, this is just really bad today. And so how do we work that out? Well, okay, let's say, okay, balance is a part, right? How is balance related to the whole thing? Well, if you don't have balance, then you just fall down. no matter what else is going on. So balance is a pretty key element, and it's going to be foundational to our metaphysics, right? Let's see if this will work for another 10 minutes. And I've got a bot in my chat. Somebody wants to ban this person. Oh, add to block list. That was easy. And of course that crashed my camera yet again. So that's going to be foundational, balance, right? What's another step? Well, I've got to be able to move my legs sort of one at a time. And for the type of thing that we're doing, you know, I have to have muscles there and bones there. And it doesn't mean that you can't do that if you don't have all of that, but you're going to have to... yes, I'm aware, Robbie, that you can't see any video. If you have been here for the last 3 minutes, we have just been doing the usual roll around trying to get my equipment to function with one another. But sorry. So anyway, so yeah, so you've got your legs. You maybe special. You might have shoes that help you do some things better, right? If you're running instead of walking. And so we're just talking about sort of the metaphysics of a thing. And since a lot of people, I think, have some familiar, I mean, just pick a thing in your life that you do every day, right? It could be, that one's good. Okay, well. I heard that there's issues, yes. Just pick a thing that you do in your everyday life and try to think about what makes it work, how it works first, and then what those parts are and how they're related to each other. So that's what we're going to talk about with Trumpet today. And then we're going to do some of that. And we're not going to do it for a long time unless I can't get my cameras to work like this, in which case we might have to do it longer. But I'm trying to just get it to function more than 10 seconds. And it's just not going. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to can this whole thing until this functions better, and I'll come back on after a bit. Okay.